Time now to debate some of the big stories of the week with the Inside Utah Politics panel. This week we have State Representative Carol Spackman-Moss and former House Speaker Greg Hughes. Thanks to both of you for being here, and you, Greg, on short notice.
Thanks. I'm nimble that way.
All right, let's start off with the workforce shortage. A Pew study recently finding that in the state of Utah, the job-to-jobless rate is 2 to 1, meaning there are 2 job openings for every 1 person unemployed. We all know the situation out there with the labor force. Representative, how did we get here?
Well, many people left the workforce. People in restaurants, for example, they were closed down or they didn't feel safe, in meatpacking plants and many jobs, and they were afraid of COVID and there weren't safety in place, and so they left, and many of them found other jobs. And I think that's really the problem. People left really low-paying jobs and they took better jobs. But we're not going to solve this until we look at providing affordable child care, better wages, better working conditions, and more flexible hours, particularly people in restaurants, bars, and retail. They have to have schedules that they can depend on. If they have children, they have to do that. So there are things that employers can do to make a difference.
Greg, you go into a restaurant today and you see obvious signs of them being understaffed. You see restaurants closing that have been community staples. How did we get here?
It's sad, Glenn. I mean, one of my favorite restaurants, my family's favorite restaurants, closed. It's a family-operated restaurant, and they couldn't find employees, and so they've had to close. And I think that you still have a lot of COVID money. You have a lot of relief money that's still out there where it gives people the option whether they return into the workforce or not. I think we've come out of this pandemic. I think that we should be wiser. We should understand what's in front of us and take appropriate precautions, but we got to get back to work. And I don't think that there's a government bill or appropriation that's going to make that happen, but I do worry that the unintended consequence of some of the COVID support money, as it's still out there and people are able to access it, it gives them the option to actually not go back to work. And you know, work is not a luxury, and we grow up and we go to work, and that's what you do, and you earn success and you make your way through, and we got to get back to that quickly.
Is that what's happening, Representative? People that can go back to work are not choosing not to?
No, I think a lot of people are going to better jobs. There's retraining going on. People are taking courses to do coding and other things. I think they're just finding better options that fit better with their schedule. I don't think that there's still unemployment money out there, that people are just lazy. I think they're just looking at finding something better. They were barely making on minimum wages and tips and restaurants, and certainly most of them have increased wages, but they also have to look at benefits. People that are on minimum wage can't get insurance, they can't afford child care. I mean, they have to look at providing benefits as well, and I think that'll make a big difference. Retraining, better benefits, higher wages, and they'll get more skilled workers.
Greg, your thoughts on employers having to look within and maybe change the way they're doing things?
I don't think it's a migration of just from one place of employment to another. When you see the statistic that there are 2 open jobs for every 1 person, that wasn't the case 2 years ago. We're seeing people that are just fundamentally not returning into the workforce. And you can't print money, so I don't know any other way that can be happening. And so I do think that we're just going to have to get back to the way that we were operating prior. I do think that there is relief money that's still out there. There's still rental assistance money out there. There's money to go into a motel if you get COVID and you want to go. There's a lot of, the county, Salt Lake County has a lot of money. They're looking for ways of marshaling those resources. They have people working on that. But I do think that has, as I mentioned, an unintended consequence. And so I think in this summertime, we got to see, I hope we see the economy pick up and people get to work, and we get back to what we saw pre-2020.
All right, let's move on to the primary debates. We've seen some pretty fascinating developments in this between the Utah Republican Party and the Utah Debate Commission. Representative, let's start with you. What do you make of a majority of the Republican incumbents refusing to participate in the Debate Commission?
Well, I think it's unfortunate. I think on both sides they needed to do a little more coordination about schedules. But when they just flat out turn down the opportunity, it looks like they're only willing to answer questions that come from their own party that make them comfortable. And I think if you're an elected official, the public has a right to know, and you have a responsibility to answer tough questions, and they might not be they might be unsettling to you. But politics is, right now, it's very competitive, and I'm really disappointed that many of them refuse to even show up.
Greg, what's this all about? I've talked with Chairman Jorgensen, and he assures me that this will not take place in the general election. It's just a primary issue. What do you make of it?
You've got a couple things going on. I mean, the legislature appropriates money to the debate commission, and one of the reasons why we created the state helped create a debate commission is we wanted to see presidential debates that would happen here in the state of Utah, and we have seen that. We saw a vice presidential debate at the University of Utah. The debate commission, when I ran for statewide office in 2020, I participated in a primary that was a debate hosted by the debate commission. But here's what's changed. I think the debate commission has begun to lay out terms of timing and schedule where they've not been very flexible, and that has made it hard for some to be able to accommodate. I know that the Republican Party, the chairman of the party, wanted to participate in some of the questions that could be asked and was rebuffed as those overtures were made. And you have all that happening at the same time. We are now in the second election cycle where, you know, your party politics isn't about the party platform and what you maybe subscribe to. It's starting to sound like become a Republican so you can vote in that primary. It's starting to sound like a very strategic affiliation more than believing in the platform of one party or the other. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing that there's this open and very vocal migrating over to the Republican Party so that you can participate in their primaries. You even have on the Democrat side where they walked away from their Democrat Senate candidate to support Evan McMullen, who is an independent or unaffiliated. And so there's some cynicism, I think, with those that actually do subscribe to the Republican Party and its platform, that there's this dilution that might be going on. And it shouldn't be just a practical matter to join a party because you think that you might have a bigger sway if you don't subscribe to the platform of that party. So I think there's some cynicism there, and you're getting some of that and some of the hesitation to have the debate commission host and moderate those debates.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting point. We saw that more in your race in governor back in 2020 than we did this year, but we still did see some migration this year. Representative, I find it interesting that registered Democrats will switch parties to Republican to try to sway a race that they probably won't sway when they then give up the right to vote in their own primary where maybe their local state house and Senate candidates need them. Why do they do that?
Right, I've seen some of that. Not this Democrat, you won't see that from me, but I've seen it from some. Some people are having second thoughts now when they see the candidate they switch parties for is not likely to make it, and it does eliminate them from voting in a state Senate race, the one, this district I live in, for example. So I think they might be rethinking that. But once again, it concerns me that people have gotten so tied to party platforms that they can't talk about issues in terms of how they would work on them, what changes they would make, how they would do it. It's just become so polarized that if you're not sticking to your party platform, then you're not pure enough. And that really has created a very divisive atmosphere in politics that I think is not good for any of us.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Greg, why will Burgess Owens not debate? He said no to the debate commission debate and to the GOP sponsor debate. Why won't he get on stage and debate his opponent? I
think he's looking at his district. He enjoys a high approval rating. I think that he's active in his campaign. I think he's enjoying a trajectory that he thinks is successful in reaching out to those in his district. So he doesn't see it as a priority. That's his prerogative.
Okay, real quick, Representative, what should voters make of that? We have about 15 seconds.
Well, I think it's like he's just ignoring his voters. I mean, he wouldn't even come to our Democratic caucus this past session and answer questions. I mean, we're not that intimidating.
No, you are.
I can be, I know.
Yeah, I can see why he would run.
We asked him some tough questions, but not to even show up. I know people in his district that feel like he doesn't care about them. He only he's on a bigger stage. They see him on other places, Fox News. They don't see him locally. So who does he represent? I mean, I think that's where you should focus. I don't care if you feel safe or not. You have a responsibility.
We're going to have to end it on that note. Real fast, 5 seconds, Greg. You think Top Gun Maverick is going to...
Top Gun Maverick. If you haven't seen it yet, you are missing out. Everyone in this theater, we're all the same. We're all cheering at the same time. It's going to save America.
It was really good. Representative, you need to go see it.
I guess I'll have to go see it.
All right.
She loves America. The representative will see it.
I'm a great patriot.
All right.
Thank
Great
you.
conversation. Thanks for being here. And stay with us. We'll be right back with more Inside Utah Politics right after the break.